pushed of the high season here in my hometown of Daybreak Harbor, on an island just off the coast of Massachusetts. Our efforts had been successful, despite the fact that we'd basically moved the cats into Grandpa's house as is and hoped for the best. But the house had been designed as, well, a house, and over 100 years ago at that. Despite some remodels over the years, it still had the same basic design, and that design wasn't a cafe with additional rooms and cubbies built for cats. So now the Cat Cafe was what used to be our dining room when Grandma was still alive and we had Sunday dinners. Now the dining room had been relocated to, well, wherever we ended up eating. But soon it would be set up like a real cat cafe, and the rest would be a real house. If we all lived through the remodel. True, but at least we got to open before the summer people left, I countered. It was good to get our name out there while all the vacationers were still on the island. We're in good shape for next year, especially with the good press. My best friend, Becky Walsh, had been instrumental in that. As the editor of the Daybreak Island Chronicle, she'd gotten JJ's House of Purrs front page press when we opened, dubbing it the genius brainchild of the island's prodigal daughter, entrepreneur Maddie James. And my cat JJ had gotten even more press, which delighted me to no end. He'd had his own profile in the Chronicle, and to everyone's delight, the Boston Globe had even run a short piece on the cafe in their Sunday edition, with JJ in the featured photo. The feel-good story of how he'd appeared at my grandmother's graveside and basically adopted me over the summer and later inspired the cat cafe idea appealed not only to animal lovers, but to anyone who was tired of bad news all the time. JJ had become quite the little orange celebrity. I won't lie, the publicity was kind of awesome. And genius brainchild? What could beat that label? Yeah, I guess it was good you made it work for the tourist season. Val eyed the customer in question, who was still bent over his computer, completely fixated on whatever he was doing, pausing every so often to scribble in a black moleskin notebook on the table next to him. Jasmine, our resident black and white long-haired cat, had curled herself contentedly into his lap. I might have thought he didn't even know she was there, except that every so often he absently reached down and stroked her head. Val nodded in his direction. Anyway, he probably needs to be able to concentrate in his line of work. It must be second nature. I gave her a blank stare. You know him? Know him? Val looked at me like I had two heads. Sure, who doesn't? I don't know. Me? I said, exasperated. Who is he? That's the writer guy who comes here every summer. Writer? I looked back at him with interest. Despite my best efforts, I couldn't place the face, although he admittedly was handsome. Dark, wavy hair that he wore unkempt, full lips that were slightly off-kilter, and killer blue eyes behind a pair of small, wire-rimmed glasses. Really? What's he write? Val rolled her eyes at my continued oblivion. I can't believe you don't know him. That's Jason Holt. Chapter 2. It took a minute, but it finally clicked in my not caffeinated enough brain. The thriller writer? The one who wrote Keep My Secrets? You're kidding. The crime thriller about a family who had vanished without a trace, and the long-lost daughter searching for them, had also been turned into a movie, and had been an integral component of one of my best dates with Lucas Davenport, the gorgeous dog groomer and recent transplant to the island who I'd been seeing. He was practically my boyfriend, although I hadn't been bold enough to use the term yet. The movie hadn't been half bad either.